Okay, so here we are. This is for IXL P.9, writing equations of ellipses in standard form. So let's just begin by writing down the standard form of an equation. So it's x minus h squared over a squared plus y minus k squared over b squared equals 1. So we have four variables we need to find, right? We need to find h, k, a, and b. And remember that the a and b are just placeholders in this equation. The a is actually going to be the longer one, and it's going to go under whichever dimension is the longer dimension. So if it's an ellipse that is longer in the x dimension, then the a is going to go into the x. If it's longer in the y dimension, then it's going to be a under the y and b under the x. So let's see what we have. Let's do our h and k. We're looking for the center of this thing. And I'm noticing that it goes from x equals -9 to x equals 9. So it's 0 in the x dimension, right? And then it goes from 8 to -8. So it's 0 in the y dimension. So that means the center, because you go halfway between, right? If that 8 from 8 to -8 is 16, and half of 16 is 8, so then you go from here down 8, and that's where the center is. So the center is 0, 0. And we're halfway there already, right? All right, so what is our a dimension? Well, all the way across, that's the major axis, right? Well, assuming that that's longer. Okay, so that's the first thing we've got to find out, is how long is this? This goes from 9 to -9. So we'll take 1, we'll go 9, and then we'll subtract the other one, minus -9. And that's going to equal 18. Okay, so it's 18 in this direction, and it goes from 8 to -8. So in this direction, it's going to be 8 minus -8, which is going to be 16. All right, so now we know that this is, what's that called? That's called the minor axis, right? Because that's shorter. That's 16. And this is the major axis, because it's longer. It's 18. So the major axis is 2a in length. So a is half of the major axis, or we also call that the semi-major. I think there's a little hyphen in there probably. Semi-major. Jeez Louise, major. I'll just blur it so bad you can't tell I was having trouble writing. So A is the semi-major axis, so that is going to be, what, 9, right? Because the whole major axis is 18, so it's the length of A is 9. And B is the minor axis, so B, the minor axis is 2B, just like the major axis is 2a. So minor axis is 2b, which means that the distance of b for the minor axis is half of 16, which is 8. 8 equals 8. Boy, this is the board layout of someone who didn't do this ahead of time to see where it was going. All right, so we got b, and we got a, and we got h, and we got k, which means we got our equation, right? So let's write it out. So h is 0, so we don't have to put that there. And x is the longer one, which is 18. Half of 18 is 9, so a squared, 9. So that's going to be x over 9 squared, which we're going to make into an 81 for our equation. Plus, and then k is 0, so we're just going to have the y squared over, and our b distance is 8, so it's going to be over 8 squared equals 1. So it's going to be x squared over 81 plus y squared over 64 equals 1. And that's how you're going to do that. And then typing it in, of course, is a big pain, but it is the pain that cannot be avoided. So let's just absorb the pain and move on. So that's going to be x squared over 81 plus y squared over 64 equals 1. Well, that wasn't too bad, was it? There we go. Okay. All right. So good. Now we got one that's not in standard position with the center at 0, 0. All right. So let's start again by writing the equation. X minus h squared over. Okay, so now I'm looking at this, and this one is not subtle, right? The major axis is right there because that's longer, and the minor axis is right there. So that's going to be the minor axis. And this is going to be the major axis. So that means what? That means the b goes under the x. Plus, the h and k stay the same because those are the x and y components, right? Over a squared equals 1. All right, now we got to find the center, and we can find the center. They gave us the center, but even if they didn't give us the center, if we knew the vertices, we could draw a line through that and find it, whatever. So there's the center, and the center is what? -1, 5, right? So that means that h equals -1 and k equals 5. And I just noticed that continuing the tradition of not being able to do two things at once, I got all distracted and didn't complete that equation. So now we got to find a and b. So we'll start with a. Okay, so what's this point right here? And I'm going to, obviously you could just count this, but you might be given the vertices instead, right? And so you need to be able to do it mathematically. So this is what? That's -1, 9. And this is -1, 1, right? So you can start at either end and just subtract the other one from it. And if you accidentally end up negative, just take the absolute value of it because you're still looking for the distance, right? Okay, so for the major axis, we're going to take the x's are the same because it's a vertical line. So we're just going to go 9 minus 1. We're going to say a. 2a actually, right? 2a, because that's the whole major axis, equals 9 minus 1. So that equals 8. So then what does a equal? Well, a equals half of 8, right? 4. So that's pretty easy. Now, if you needed to find the center and you were given the vertices, then you would have to be given something else. And if you're given the a, you would go 9 minus 4, and that would get you to 5, which is where that vertex, the center is, right? Okay, so a is 4, and then what's b? B is in the x direction, and so 2b is going to equal, what's that? That is 1, 5. And this is -3, comma 5, right? So 2a is going to equal, I just did something horrendous, didn't I? What did I do? Jeez. No, -3, 5. Oh, no, I did that right. Oi. All right, so we'll take this one. You just start on the right or on the top and subtract the other one if you need to do it a certain way. So we're going to take the x coordinates, and it's going to be 1 minus -3 equals 4. So if 2b equals 4, and b equals 2, right? And now we have everything we need. So let's put it all in. So we have x minus, and I'm going to write it out like this, and then we'll simplify it. Minus -1 squared over, what's our b? Our b is 2 squared, right? Plus y minus, and our k is actually 5. It's not negative, so we don't have to worry about that. 5 over, and then what's our a squared? A is 4, so 4 squared equals 1. So the whole thing is going to be x plus 1 squared over 4 plus y minus 5 squared over 16 equals 1. And that would draw you that particular ellipse. Now we will go through the tedious process of doing this. X plus 1 squared over 4. 2 squared is 4, right? Plus parentheses y minus 5, move outside the parentheses, squared over 16 equals 1. If I didn't make a mistake. Here we go. Hold my breath. Feeling good. All right. So it's going to be the same thing. I'm just going to move a little faster now. Here we go. The center is right there, right? So the center is at 7. The center, well, I will start by writing the equation. I might as well just clear that. I'm going to start by writing the equation. X minus h squared over a squared plus y minus k squared over b squared equals 1. All right, so h and k, h equals what? The center is 7, -5, right? 7, comma, -5. That's where the center is. Okay, did I get that right? 7, -5. Yes, okay, so h is 7, k is -5, and we're halfway there. A is whatever half of the major axis is. So here's the major axis right there, which goes from -9 to -1, so that's 8. So A equals 4. And here's the minor axis now, because that's the short one. So that's going to be B, and B goes from 9 to 5. So B equals 2, right? Because this is, just to refresh, this distance here is A. So the whole major axis is 2A. Same thing with the minor axis. Half of the minor axis is B. So the whole minor axis is 2B. So that's where the 4 and the 2 came from, because the major axis is 8 and the minor axis is 4. And now we have everything we need, right? So we're going to do this. It's going to be x minus h, which is 7, over, it's going to be b, the b term, right? Because the y dimension is longer than the x dimension is wide. So the shorter one is going to go under here. So that's going to be 2 squared plus, and then it's going to be y minus -5 squared over the longer dimension, right? 4, that's our a term, equals 1. So now we'll just rewrite this. I missed the square there. And that should do it. Oh, there's the bell. Y minus 7. Multiple bells. Okay, so I got to finish this off. I'm going to just finish this quick enough that we can see that I got it right. I don't have any students coming in, so I actually have a few more moments because it's a testing day. That's the first thing that I actually liked about a testing day. Squared over 16. Don't forget the equals 1 or you'll lose points, right? Incorrect. What did I do wrong? Y minus 7, y plus. What did I do wrong? Y minus 7 y minus 7 squared over 4 plus y plus 5 squared over 16 equals 1. Y minus 7, I just have some sort of funky spacing in there or something, don't I? Because that's the exact same equation. So that's right, and I don't know why it's wrong, but it definitely looks wrong. X minus 7, y plus 5. X minus 7, y plus 5. That's like the wrong dash or something. I must have accidentally held down the control key. Anyway, so that's right. So I am going to hit got it, and then in the next 30 seconds, I am going to clear that. I'm going to skip a level, see if there's anything we need to know about. All right, so actually, I will come back to this because I don't want to make that into I don't want to rush through that because that's another thing is to do that. So I'm going to end here for now. Bye.